The republic is terminal. I repeat, the republic is terminal. I'm talking about the United States of America. Everything that has just transpired in the last 6 months is too much to even take a true account of and for. But let's just be real. We've seen a third assassination attempt on President Donald Trump. And I don't live in America. I've actually been living outside of America for 6 months. But I just found out today about the Georgia and Florida wildfires and saw a video of how bad it's getting. Footage on the ground from people that live in Florida and Georgia and have not seen anything like it. And, I'm afraid that this is on purpose, that it looks like Hawaii, that it looks like California, that it looks a little bit too similar to situations that happen when some of the corporations and some of the Saudi Arabians and some of the people in high power want to actually take American farmland by force. And so this is why I'm repeating. The republic is terminal. Now, to be terminal, similar to if you had cancer, is saying that, this is a terminal situation. It's going to lead to the unalivement of the empire and the unalivement of life as the way that you used to know it. So the United States of America is in a situation that she cannot get herself out of. I was reading Jeremiah 51 today. I saw it in a comment as I was browsing on YouTube, and it reminded me because I've read Jeremiah 51 so many times. In fact, it was the main verse, as well as Jeremiah 50, that I was reading when I wanted to escape America in 2020. And Jeremiah 51, there's a specific verse that says, "We would have healed Babylon, but she cannot be healed. Forsake her and flee." This is that moment right now. And as much as people may not want to hear it, as much as the patriots, whether they're Democrat or Republican or whoever they are, want to close their eyes and pretend nothing is happening, it's quite clear that something is happening, and it's darker than any of us could have imagined, because back in 2020 to 2022, when the pandemic was at its height, we assumed that that was the worst it could get. Like, everybody's just locked in the entire, but it has already gotten worse, because we are in the middle of the America-Iran war. It doesn't even matter that Israel's in it, because America is doing the bidding of those people, that nation, and it just is what it is. And so on the outside, it really appears to be Iran versus America. It's shooting the oil prices up. Oil prices are outrageous. And the true famine that's going to hit America the hardest is not even here yet. It's going to come in October. On top of the fact, remember that flights coming out of Chicago O'Hare are going to be lessened. They're going to be a little bit paused. There's not going to be thousands and thousands of flights out of that international passport anymore from May 2026, which is literally just a few days from now, clear through October. And so those Americans who wanted to get out will not be getting out as much unless they pack up quickly. Those Americans who were prepping and purchased land in rural Georgia, purchased land in rural Florida, purchase land down in the South, because they're also saying even Mississippi is on fire as well, but the news will not talk about it. They thought that they were preparing, but some of these houses and rural areas have been completely depleted, and nobody is talking about it. I didn't even know about it until a firsthand creator in our community went on film to say what's happening and say that people need to spread the word about this, because if it does not get solved, it could also impact the main metropolitans like Atlanta. Somebody in Georgia, especially if you're in the rural areas, let me know how this is panning out, because it just sounds quite crazy. We hear this all the time with Canada and California, sometimes even Washington State. But Georgia and Florida, that's an odd one. And, you can't really decipher. It's difficult to decipher. Is it something with the climate? Is it something with judgment upon the land? Or is this something that people have manufactured? We don't even really know which one, or it could be all three at the same time. That's my favorite answer because, the Most High says in the book of Isaiah, I create good and I create evil. I am Yahuwah. I do all these things. There's nothing that happens without me knowing it. And this is how we know. Back to Jeremiah 50 and 51. If you have not read them, maybe I'll leave those scriptures down below. It's time to flee Babylon. But I think the strange thing, because I've read these scriptures so many times, and at first I thought that only people who believe in the Bible would really understand it. I thought maybe like worldly or elite, wealthier people, maybe they wouldn't really get it or understand it. But then conversations with clients again in the Mature Adult Intensive, by the way, we have the 8th cohort happening May 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're winding down the days literally this Sunday or Monday. And so it's going to be the final 48 hours to sign up for that cohort and to learn more about it. If you do want to learn more, go to www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com/services. A few weeks ago, during week 3 of the Mature Adult Intensive, because we go through a full 4 weeks together, one of our clients said something that was interesting. She said that she is a massage therapist out in California. Actually, it was Nevada, I believe. And she works with wealthier clients, okay? In America, a lot of times people that get massages a lot are wealthier people. And so she was working with her clients like she always does. They tip well, they pay well, whatever. And so she was doing what she always does, doing the massages. And they told her that they're liquidating everything and that they would be leaving. And I was like, wow, this is real reminiscent of Leave the World Behind. Not only that, but then today, another guy said the same thing. He said he was taking an Uber. This wasn't even like, it's just Uber. And so he's, if somebody's in your Uber, you're probably listening to their conversations low-key in the background. It is what it is, especially if they're, talking loud or there's no music up. And so he hears their conversation, a husband and a wife that are regular Americans, white Americans, European Americans, not sure of which descent. But they're on the phone discussing with their other family members saying, yes, we have to wrap up the house. We have to wrap up the businesses here, but also in Canada so that we can get over to Europe in the next couple of weeks. And he said that he said it in such a hushed or such a rapid tone that he started to question the Uber driver, what's going on. So, he's low-key listening to the conversation. And so he kind of asked the guy, because, he's extroverted and he's not, he's like, I'm just going to ask him, like, is there something I should know about? Like, what's happening? Why are you saying you need to hurry up and do this? Like, what's happening? Can you let me know? And he said it like this. He said that the wife looked at him and she closed her mouth and she looked at her husband. The husband proceeds to tell him, look, the next 6 months are critical. Get your family together. Remember our timeline also for the Chicago O'Hare Airport, how they're delaying flights from May to October. Remember that timeline? So he says the next 6 months are critical. You want to get your family in order. As much of your family as that you can get together, get them prepared, get them in order, get them to prep, stockpile supplies, do whatever they need to do to function in unity together, because what is coming is going to be bad. Now, you would think that he means something that's just like an economic crash, but he proceeds to tell this brother, he proceeds to tell him, and he says, it's worse than anything you can imagine. He says, whatever you can imagine to be the worst case scenario, it's going to be that scenario. That's why we're in a rush. He said, look, I don't want to scare you, but what's going to happen is going to happen. I'm not trying to fearmonger, but it's already going to happen. Like, so if I don't just tell you how serious this is, it doesn't really matter, right? Because if you foresee, or if you already know, or if your intuition tells you that something is coming and that you need to tell other people to be wary of it, especially somebody that asked, because, this guy is in the back of an Uber. He's not on the highways and byways saying, leave America. Typically, more elite, wealthier people typically don't do that, right? But he said, since you asked, Let me just be honest with you. Let me tell you the truth since you were the one to ask. And it really reminds me of the book of Matthew. Seek and you will find, knock and the door shall be opened, right? So this door of wisdom is now open, where he is on his YouTube channel telling people, or on his TikTok, whichever social media it was, telling people this story and telling them, hey, something's happening and you may think I'm paranoid. You may think I'm crazy, but I'm going to prepare and have my affairs in order. Okay? And he may even decide, you know what? Let me just get out of here and get out of this country and go down to Jamaica. Let me get out of here and go over somewhere else. Something very bad is coming. And I believe that it could be related to the Iran war. Because understand, empathize with humanity here. Iran lost 40 of their leaders. Iran just had a meeting with Russia, and Russia told them that, you know, they are there to support them if need be, if the need comes alive. And so from what I see that's going on right now, from what I've been shown from a spiritual level, I would expect it to get very not safe in America due to outside forces. Now, I wish that was the only thing the Republic has to worry about, the Republic that is America, the United States of America, the United States of America. But remember that fertilizer is behind. Remember that doesn't impact you in the next week that the fertilizer did not reach America. Instead, it impacts you in October, November, December. And so your window to get out is really this summer, which is a good window. We got out of America in the summer 6 years ago. Okay. I look forward to the day that I can come on here and say it has been 10 years outside of America. And when I say outside, I'm not talking about back and forth, fly here, fly there. I'm talking continuously outside of America with strategic planning. Okay? And so the Republic is dead, but that doesn't mean it's too late for you. Even though the Republic is dying, the culture is completely dead and has been dead. The way that society is ran in America is not working. People can't even read. Children cannot even read. But that doesn't have to be your portion. You can choose to leave. You can choose to say, you know what, these wildfires are a little bit close to home. Maybe we should just liquidate. Maybe we should just sell. Maybe we should just make a move that's going to be more permanent. Something where our house won't get caught on fire because some elites want our farm space, want our acreage. And some of these people didn't even have 30 acres. Some just have 5, 6, 7. But they're saying the fires are so close that they may have to forsake everything and begin again. So use wisdom in this time. Use discernment. Test the spirits. See if they're from Yah. And make the right choices that you will be thankful for in the next 6 to 10 to 15 years. After all of this passes by and you look back, like we look back at the pandemic area or time, make sure you look back thankful that you made the right decisions instead of regretful or remorseful that you made the wrong ones. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the last video. Read Jeremiah 50 and read Jeremiah 51.